Life can change in an instant. If you've been hurt in an accident, suffered from medical negligence, or are facing criminal charges, you don't have to face it alone. At Ryan Miller and Coburn, we're here to listen and fight for you. We're your neighbors, traveling across Montana to stand by your side as your link to justice. Real people, real help, right here in Montana. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys.
Hello, my name is Keelin Ah Yat, quarterback at the University of Montana. In the off-season, it's important to do everything you can to prepare for the season. In high school, that means funding your program. In my experience, Vertical Raise is the ultimate online fundraiser platform. They'll broaden your reach of your fundraiser and bring in more money than other platforms. And there are no sneaky or hidden fees like other companies. If you're trying to raise money for your program, reach out to Vertical Raise today.
Thanks for breakdown, SkylineSportsMT.com. Samuel Akem joining us now. And you just caught up with a former Grizz receiver, so this is fun. We got to tease this one before we get into some of my questions for you. But big-time honor for one of your friends and a guy that was a great receiver for the Grizz, Keelin White. Tell us what's going on up north of the border.
Man, so Keelin just finished his rookie season. He was the third overall pick to the Ottawa Red Blacks, and they didn't make the playoffs. Their team wasn't great, but he was one of the most outstanding rookies. There's 9. I think they picked one from each team because there's 9 teams in the CFL, and he was the one that they chose from the Ottawa Red Blacks. And I don't know, it's just an amazing honor, and he's a pro. He's living on his own. It's just awesome to see. Because Keelin was a walk-on. I watched him when he first got to the University of Montana, and just to see how his career has progressed and to see him be a professional athlete now, it's awesome. So we had a really good conversation, got to catch up and talk a little Grizz ball as well.
Well, I know that when he was at Montana, I think a lot of people that watched him early on had sort of seen that potential in him. There was always the thought, like, this guy works like a pro, so he has a chance to maybe be a pro. Did you notice that when you were – because was he a freshman when you were a senior? Is that right?
No, he was a freshman in 19, actually.
Oh,
so
that's
he was
right.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah. Okay, so you got to spend a couple of years with him. Did you see that in him when he was younger?
Oh, yeah. You saw it. And I remember there's one distinct play. I don't remember who in terms of the media was at practice at that time, but he had made like a big jumping catch on the sidelines. And we were like, yo, that's different. And then if you remember, he was a walk-on who got put on scholarship before he stepped on the field during that COVID break or whatever, 2020, because he's talked about it before when he was on my channel last time. He talked about how he only had 1 year at Montana. His parents weren't going to be able to afford another year for him.
Yeah.
So literally he was like hoping and praying that he got put on scholarship, and he did. So, but yeah, you could see it immediately.
Yeah. Well, no doubt. Well, speaking of great Grizz offensive players, I got 3 big questions for you that are sort of about the national landscape and where Grizz and Bobcat players and standouts fit into it. So right now, I think that there's 3 bona fide Walter Payton Award candidates that play for the University of Montana. I think it's the quarterback, Keali'i Ah Yat. I think it's the running back, Gillman, and I think it's the receiver, Michael Wortham. If you were – I asked this on Twitter too, and most of the responses, people just said – nominate all 3 of them, but I do think you need to have a little bit of a push from the athletic department to like kind of boost up one guy. If you were to boost up one guy, like who would you choose? Who's the guy that should be the leading Walter Payton Award candidate from the Grizz?
Man, it's kind of tough because
it's really tough.
I think the obvious answer is Michael Wortham, but I lean towards saying it should be Ah Yat, and the reason I say this is because but I don't think it's man. This is a tough question because
so tough.
What I was gonna say is I would lean towards Wortham because I think he's been the do everything guy. I think he has the best statistics on the team to get it, but I don't think he can win it not being a quarterback. So then that's why I lean towards Ah Yat, but I don't think statistically Ah Yat can win it over Cole Payton or Teron Dickens at Western Carolina. So it's like I don't know. I think Wortham is the obvious answer for me. A ton of rushing yards, a ton of receiving yards. Worthy, he's made a lot of plays in the receiving game as in the return game as well. And I just think, I mean, you turn on the games, Michael Wortham is a big reason why Idaho State, they won that game. Sac State, you can even point to that game. He's a big reason why they won that game. There's games all throughout the season where he's made big time plays. And I think he affects winning at a rapid rate. So I don't know. I think I lean towards Michael Wortham, but it's a hard decision to make.
It is a hard decision to make because who's going to have the best numbers in comparison to like their position group peers, that answer is actually probably Gillman.
Yeah,
Because he
right.
already has 13 touchdowns. Like if he stays on this pace, he's probably going to score somewhere between 18 and 20 touchdowns. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
averaging, a touchdown and a half a game, that's pretty impressive. That's going to get you in the national conversation. Ayat, I agree. The Payton Award has become a quarterback award.
Hmm.
So maybe putting your quarterback up there. Right now he's throwing for about 280 yards a game. So right now he's on pace to throw for about 3,400 yards. He has 17 touchdowns. So if he stays on that same pace, he'll throw somewhere between 27 and 30 touchdowns. Those are really good numbers. But
He's got 7 INTs.
right, and like, is he really gonna like? Is 3,530? Let's say, is that good enough to win the Payton? I don't know because it's such a statistically inflated award, and there's also these offenses where, they're doing nothing but throw the ball. Western Carolina's like that.
Yep.
Monmouth's like that. So,
Yep.
he can't compete because he has a running back that he gets to hand the ball to. He has Michael Wortham who takes quarterback snaps. In terms of the impact on the, so here's another conundrum I had too. I actually think that Wortham is probably the third guy in the race for the Payton because of the way that the other two guys are going to have better statistics compared to their peers.
Yeah,
I
right.
think I think Wortham's the front runner for Big Sky Conference Offensive Player of the Year because
Ooh.
I think he changes the game more, and I also think that a lot of times that award goes to the best player, not necessarily the most statistically outstanding player.
Yeah. When's the last time in the Big Sky there was a non-quarterback win it? Has it been recent?
And I'm trying to think. Well, Land Larison was the Offensive Player of the Year 2 years ago.
Oh, right, 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 right.
Even when
Okay.
even though he got hurt, and then
Yeah.
Malott was the guy last year. There's
Yeah,
been a
right.
fair amount of non-quarterbacks that have won it. The Big Sky has a precedent for this on the defensive side. There's been several times where the Big Sky Conference Defensive Player of the Year did not win the Buck, and the Buck
Right.
winner was from the league, but they weren't the Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, shoot, it happened at Montana State where they had two guys from the same defense. Caleb Schreibeis was the Buck Buchanan Award winner. Jody Owens was the Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year. So there's certainly precedent for that on the defensive side, at least.
Right. Right. That's kind of wild. I think didn't something like that happen to Dante too? Where he wasn't the Big Sky, but he won the Buck that year when he won the
Man, I
Buck.
can't remember if he was. I mean, he obviously definitely won the Buck. We know that.
Wasn't it Jonah from Weber State who won the
That's
Big
right.
Sky that
Jonah
year?
Williams from Weber State won Big Sky Conference Defensive Player of the Year. That's right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Certainly. Who do you think's the front runner right now for the Walter Payton Award?
It's got to be Cole Payton. I mean, if you look at anybody else but Cole Payton, I don't have his stats put up right in front of me, but I mean, that dude is extremely efficient. He's not turning over the ball. He's got a ton of rushing yards.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude, if you watch him play, some of the throws he makes are absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know if the people voting on the awards are actually watching these guys play, but Cole Payton is playing at an extremely, extremely high level. Like, he, by far, I would say, is playing the best ball at the quarterback position right now. Now, some people might say he's got the best line, he's got the best running backs, he's got
Sure.
the best receivers, like he's got the best coaching, and that's true. But still, somebody's got to go out there and execute because for as good as Cam Miller was, he never won the Walter Payton Award.
Right.
So I mean, you got to do it. And Cam Miller had similar weapons to his disposal. He had the best receiver in Bryce Lance. He had the best offensive line. I mean, he had a first round draft pick at offensive lineman, and he got beat up by Tommy Lott. But Cole Payton is playing the best ball at the quarterback position, even though he's not going to have the godly stats that Derek Robertson or Teron Dickens at Western Carolina is going to have. He still has been, to me, the most effective quarterback and the most efficient.
Well, I think he certainly asserted himself in that exact slot too on Saturday because I mean he had 250 yards passing. He rushed for almost 150. He actually
Yep.
didn't throw a touchdown because he ran in four of them. So
4 of them.
yeah, I mean he's putting up crazy good numbers, but it's the efficiency more than anything that I think is so impressive, right? But he completed what I think his first 12 passes
Yeah.
on Saturday night. So certainly he's leading the pack, I would say.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think that the impression around the FCS now after watching, it's funny because I think a lot of people hadn't watched NDSU yet because they had not had a sort of primetime opponent. They just been
Yeah.
rolling through subpar opponents. So people were just seeing scores and whatever. Then everybody got a chance to watch them on Saturday night, especially because the Grizz had already played. So a lot of Grizz people got to watch them. I think a lot of people from the Cat side of things were doing what we were doing, where you're split screening it and you're looking at both
Yeah.
these games. It's just interesting to me because NDSU is the defending national champions, but after one performance, now everybody's like, "Oh man, how are we going to beat NDSU?" I mean, was that affirming? You already thought they were the front runner because you've watched all of their games, but I mean, they just put a stamp on it on Saturday.
Yo, Tara, what up, E?
What's going on? Man, those are some nice medals.
Yeah, man, these are hard to come by.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 of them.
Well, that's nothing like going to March Madness, though.
We did go to a national championship.
Okay, guys, whatever. Let's just get on the Montana party bus and head over to Press Box for lunch.
Yeah.
Nuanez Now and Skyline Sports, covering Montana athletics and the Big Sky Conference better than anybody. The Montana Party Bus and the Press Box are also proud supporters of Montana athletes.
Hey, cheers to you guys, man. Cheers to Montana. Cheers to
Join DraftWorks' annual Crappy Halloween costume contest on October 31st at 5 p.m. Enjoy a free pint for rocking a killer costume and stick around for the 9 p.m. Best Dressed prize. Spooky fun, great drinks, and plenty of laughs guaranteed at DraftWorks.
I've been watching this team since week 1, and we cover the Big Sky, and I've been trying to show love to the Big Sky Conference and the Montanas and the Montana States and the UC Davises, but I just haven't seen a team that I think can go 60 minutes with them. And I've been thinking that for weeks now. And I felt kind of crazy saying it, but then to see everybody else validate it, I'm like, oh yeah, no, like it's confirmed. Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously, the game is played on grass. It's not played on paper, so that's obviously going to play itself out. But with what we're seeing right now, I don't know how you can say you've seen another team that you think can go 60 minutes and come out on top.
Last year, they did what they did with a roster that was sort of in turmoil because they were getting poached all over the place by the portal. Some guys said yes, some guys said no, but they had this weird deal. They had a coaching change. They were under a first-year head coach. There was like a lot of turmoil around India.
They have a new OC in DC too?
Right. They had all this stuff going on, and they still won the Natty, and they beat one of the greatest teams in the history of the Big Sky to do it. So then when they take a jump forward this year, I'm actually not surprised because they don't have the 2 quarterback thing. I know Cam Miller was the man last year, but they still played Cole Payton quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Now that's just Cole Payton's show. They returned some of those guys from the defensive side. And the thing that's crazy is, don't look now, but they're probably going to be better next year too. I don't know if they have weight in the wings for quarterback, but all their linemen on both sides of the ball are not seniors. So they can take another step forward. It's just crazy the level of consistency they've been able to attain.
Yeah, it's madness. It's madness. And you keep thinking like, man, like, where do they find these guys? And maybe it's not like them. Maybe I just don't get it. I just don't get how other teams in the FCS can't find the similar offensive linemen. And maybe it's not the talent that they're finding. Maybe it's the development of the talent. Sure. I think you really got to tap into the strength and conditioning coach at North Dakota State. Right. I think that's somebody who deserves a ton of credit.
Coach Kramer deserves all the credit in the world, man. And that's the thing. As the legend goes, he's the guy that gets the final sign-off on the body types. And he says, hey, I can mold that guy. I can mold that guy. That's why their offensive line looks the same, man. All the body types have been these same structured guys. And then he says, bring them to me, and I'll get them ready, and then we'll roll them out. And I think there's no coincidence. That's why they look so consistently impressive up front.
Oh, yeah. You show me a good football team, I'll show you a strength and conditioning coach who's locked in.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, last question on that Grizz trio. We were getting asked this on Twitter. Ayat, Gillman, and Wortham, are they better than Dalton Sneed, Sammy Akem, Samari Toure, and Marcus Knight?
Oh! Don't do that, Colter.
I know, right? Because that's so tough, right?
Oh, man, it's tough. It's tough because Ayat doesn't run as much as Sneed. He could. I think he could. He doesn't, though. And Eli Gillman.
I think that's part of the way they want him to operate, too, though.
Exactly.
Like, Sneed was not – he had no handcuffs on him. They were like, if you want to run, go for it, man. And he rushed for like 700 yards 2 years in a row. Ayat could do that for sure. I just think that
he most definitely could.
I think that Brent Vigen said, "Hey, buddy, let's make sure you're standing upright first and foremost, and let's keep you in the game."
And then with Eli, as a runner between the tackles, he's better than Marcus Knight. But as an all-around running back who can run in between the tackles, run to the outside, and catch it out of the backfield, I think Eli Gillman can do it, and I think he can do it at a high level. They just don't use him in the passing game as much as Knight. You know, Knight was an integral part of the receiving game. Now, in terms of, and it's just so different. It's different. I honestly lean towards saying this duo is better because I really this trio is better because I really like Wortham. I think Ayat's a little bit stronger of a passer than Sneed. And, Eli Gillman in terms of running the ball in between the tackles. I think he's a little better at that than Knight, Marcus Knight. Now, maybe I'm being a little modest because make no mistake about it, me, Maury, Marcus, and Dalton were some bad boys. But I really do like what Eli, Wortham, and Ayat bring to the table. I think I would honestly lean towards them. I would lean towards them. Because I don't think, I mean, even as an offense, were we as explosive as this offense is necessarily?
Well, here that's the X factor is that like Marcus Knight is a really good, dual threat running back. Really good.
Yeah.
He does not have the top end speed like Gillman has. Like Gillman can hurt you between the tackles, but then he can also hit you. And then, I mean, I have this one picture of him from Friday night where he's like almost parallel to the ground while he's making a cut because his balance is so good. But then he's back to full speed. That's the thing that sets him apart from anybody really that the Grizz have ever had at the running back spot. And then the other thing is it's impossible. Somebody else texted in and asked, would you trade prime Samari Toure for prime Michael Wortham?
No.
And I was like, man, Toure is way more diverse as a receiver. He's a way more complete receiver. He's a better route runner, probably. He's a guy that can wear you out in a whole bunch of different ways. I mean, shoot, the guy's an NFL draft pick. So, like, we're preaching to the choir here. Like, he's one of the greatest players to ever play in the Big Sky. He got drafted. But Wortham is one of the great big play players I have ever seen, period. Not just the Grizz, man. Like, the explosive ability in the open field and his ability to not only be straight line. Here's the thing. He's as straight line fast as like Tommy Malott, but he's got way more shift to him. He's got way more jukies. And that's the thing is I don't even think Samari Toure can take the inside slant and beat 8 guys to the pylon like Michael Wortham did on Friday night.
Yeah.
That's the thing that where you're just like, whoa. Like that's where I think that's why these guys are getting so much hype though, right? That's why we're having this conversation. Because I don't know where these guys rank in terms of Grizz trios or whatever. They are for sure one of, if not the greatest in terms of explosive plays. And that's such a testament to the coaching staff because they were not leaning into running an explosive play offense for several years. And now that's what they're doing. They're scoring almost exclusively explosively.
Oh, yeah. And the reason I say Wortham is I would lean towards Wortham over Samori in terms of like what they can do. Because I know I answered a question yesterday with somebody, Brian Hunt asked me about it too. But the reason I say that is because Wortham can do so much. You can put him at the Wildcat. Now, Maury could be a returner, but we never really saw him do it at a high level. You can put Wortham at returner. You can put Wortham in the slot. You can put Wortham in the outside. You can put Wortham at running back. We haven't even seen him at running back. Imagine Wortham at running back.
Man.
He's just so versatile. I don't think it's hard to replace a player like that.
Cash One Pawn, Missoula's #1 pawn shop.
You want money? We got money. You need money? We got money. We're cash.
Do yourself a favor and make Cash One Pawn part of your online shopping habits. Cash One Pawn has an awesome online inventory, everything from firearms to power tools to speaker equipment to jewelry. Visit Cash One Pawn today.
Cash One Pawn.
8720 Roller Coaster Road, CashOnePawn.com.
And that's the other part that we have to acknowledge. And you understand this so well. All 3 of these guys are great because of all 3 of these guys.
Yep.
They're all great because of each other, man.
Like, you can't key in on one of them.
Wortham is eating because teams are stacking the box against Gillman right now, right?
He gets one-on-ones.
That's going to be the next evolution is when people are like, okay, we're not doing this. We're not letting Wortham score 3 60-yard touchdowns. Let's bracket Wortham. Let's bust him up on the line. Then what's going to happen? Gillman's going to go
for 200.
Yeah, he's going to go for 175 and 4 touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
And Ayat's ball skills, it's not just the throwing, it's the ball skills and the mesh and like the option game. That's the thing that really, I think, just tears it up. Because like when they run that RPO and Ayat meshes it all the way to the last second, and then he can pull it and throw that dart right to the slant, that's where the defenses are just screwed, man. There's nothing you can do. You can't guard it.
Yeah, and his pocket presence has been phenomenal because obviously, the offensive line has been up and down this year, but his ability to move around in the pocket and evade sacks has really, really shown. And then, like, one thing I think Ayat, I don't know if Dalton was as good at this. Ayat can throw on the run really, really well. really well. Whether he's rolling to his left, whether he's rolling to his right, he is extremely accurate on the run. And I'd love to look at the PFF numbers. I've been waiting for them to put the Sac State game on there.
Yeah.
But he throws on the run really well, really, really well. We've talked about it before as well.
Totally. Well, he does it different than anybody else that I've ever seen at this level do it too. Where Snead is so fast, but Snead would sprint to his spot and then he would do like almost like the jump stop to get his hip square.
Yep.
Ayat can like grapevine keeping his hip square to the line while he's like making his reads across. I mean, that's like pro stuff, man. Like there's very few guys that can do that at any level of football. He can do it. He makes it look flawless. That's the part I'm the most impressed with is his ability to extend plays while still keeping his hip square to the line.
You know what I've been thinking and asking myself lately? Do you think Ayat is a pro quarterback?
Oh yeah.
You do?
He's a CFL quarterback for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not an NFL quarterback, but that's not a shot to him. Nobody is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's guys starting at Penn State and Michigan that aren't NFL quarterbacks. So that,
right.
There's very few NFL quarterbacks, and especially when you got guys that are hanging on in the league in year 22, like Aaron Rodgers or whatever. It's just way less spots for guys to go have, right? I was thinking about this the other day. There on Sunday, there was dudes that have been starting since I was in high school, starting still in the NFL. It's like I'm old, man. Like Matt Stafford, Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers, like
dang, that's crazy.
Andy Dalton, like these guys are the quarterbacks of my childhood, and I'm like, I'm a middle-aged guy now. It's crazy, man. It's that part. So there's just less opportunities, but I think that Ayat is certainly right there in the mold of some of those other great Big Sky quarterbacks that have played up north, like Vernon Adams, Dakota Prukop,
Davis, Alexander.
Yeah, Davis,
Alexander. He's undefeated. That's what Keenan was telling me. He's 10-0 as a starter.
No doubt.
Shine Beer Sanctuary is leading the charge when it comes to promoting beer culture in Montana. Located at the corner of Church and Main and downtown Bozeman, the locally owned and operated tap house and bottle shop has the best beer selection in the Treasure State. The bar has 32 rotating beers on tap with everything from Duvel to local ciders, gluten-free beers, and non-alcoholic options. The bottle shop has more than 400 beer offerings from all over the world, and Shine offers Cicerone-trained beer guides. Come enjoy beer heaven at Shine Beer Sanctuary in Bozeman.
Breakdown, SkylineSportsMT.com. Okay, I got to ask you two quick questions about the Cats. First of all, I thought one of the things that stuck out to me the most after the Cal Poly game was listening back to the post-game interview and then also talking to Brent Vigen on Monday. He was very critical of their performance. He said, hey, we're up 27-3. We got to throw the knockout punch. Like we have to seal these games. Like we cannot screw around. Those 2 touchdowns we gave in the fourth quarter, not up to the standard. So what do you think of that approach? Because he's always had this approach, but he's been like doubling and tripling down on it about our standard is our standard. It's a national championship standard. It doesn't matter who we play. I just find it refreshing. Like he gets to the post game and it's not like, oh man, oh boy, we held on for one, good job. Or it wasn't like we got a convincing 2-score win. He was like, yeah, we won by 2 scores. Not good enough. We should have won by 4 or 5 scores. What do you think of that approach as a head coach?
Honestly, love it. I think he's trying to keep his team out of that mindset of being complacent. I think he's trying to keep them out of that mindset of like, oh, we're good, we won. Because at this point, Vigen's been to the top of the mountain twice now, and he hasn't been able to reach the summit quite yet. Getting to the national championship twice, I think under Vigen at this point understands there's a standard, and winning by 17 against a middle of the pack, bottom of the league team is not where our standard is at. Last year, they were boat racing people. They were waterboarding people, putting them out of their misery. And, they ended up making it to the national championship. I think, obviously, it's like, okay, we still won by 17, but did we leave some meat on the bone? And I think that's what he's trying to get away from is like, let's not leave anything on the bone. Let's strip it bare, and let's make sure that there's nothing else that they can peel out of this. And I love that mentality. You need that mentality if you have a team that you think can be great, that can make it to the highest level, that can get all the way to the end. You have to have that type of mentality.
And Justin Lamson on Saturday he was 19 of 30 for 176 yards, but you and I watched the game together, and he was less than sharp, and it looked like he was underthrowing balls. The commentators were talking about it, and Vigen was asked about it after the game. Tom Stewart from Skyline Sports asked Vigen, it seemed like Justin was maybe a little bit late, and Vigen's like, yeah, operationally, he was just a little bit late. I thought it was interesting that Vigen pointed that out as well and totally admitted that. But that was sort of the first less than exemplary performance of Lamson's career, and it was still, totally solid. He's 63% of his passes threw a touchdown, but he has been nails. Like 76, 77% almost every night out. So, what did you make of just his short throws? What do you think that could come from the quarterback position?
Honestly, it might be more complex than this, but I honestly think it just is the bye week. You're coming off a bye week. You've got some rest. You're trying to knock the rust off.
Totally.
You're playing against a team that you think you're better than, but I mean, we watched this Cal Poly team a couple of weeks ago. They got a ton of talent on that squad.
Oh, they're good, right?
They're good. Two of the best linebackers in the conference, probably one of the best corners in the conference. I mean, they're extremely talented on the defensive end. They just can't get it. They just can't put it all together. But I think we saw a little bit of the talent of Cal Poly kind of stand out. But also, I think it was just that bye week rust. I mean, 63% isn't terrible. He's 71, almost 72% completion on the season. So I think guys like this at times are going to bump their head. They're going to have a less than stellar performance. And as long as it doesn't become a trend, I don't think it's anything to be worried about. But I think Coach Vigen calling it out and calling a spade is definitely how you got to be at a coach. Especially, I think, Coach Vigen was trying to give the team grace. You look at Oregon, South Dakota State, USD, Mercyhurst, Eastern Washington. He's giving them grace. But at some point, as we've seen right now, it's to that point in the season where there's only a few games left. You must win them all. You must win them by a ton of points if they're not, one of the top teams in the conference. And you need to start to look sharp. So I think that's what we're seeing from Brent Vigen. It's like, hey, we need to start to clean this thing up. Anything less than our best is never going to be good enough at this point in the season.
But he also knows exactly. He knows how good they can be. And when they're at their best offensively, they're lights out. I think that was the part he was frustrated with, because there's some timing stuff that coming out of the bye. I also thought the lighting there was weird. So you wonder if that messes up the depth perception or anything like that. Mostly he was mad that they didn't slam the door in their face when they're up 27-3. The defense had only given up, I think, 4 first downs to that point. And then they gave up back-to-back long touchdown drives. I mean, they just haven't been marched down the field and scored on other than Oregon like that all season. And I think he was more saying this like, this is a focus thing. Like, this is something we need to adjust our focus on. It's not an operational thing. It's not a talent thing. None of those things. Is that we just lapsed in focus because we were up big and we just got to slap.
For listening to our Big Sky Breakdown podcast series and for tuning into our Skyline Sports YouTube channel. If you have not, please rate, review, and subscribe. Particularly subscribe. Click on the subscribe button. That helps us out a ton. Thanks to our great partners who help make all of this content possible, including Ty Hobbs at Keller Williams Real Estate. Ty's a great friend of mine, guy I lift weights with in the mornings, and a guy I golf with as much as I can, but he's also an ace realtor. I did not choose him as my realtor because he's my friend, although that was a big perk. He is excellent when it comes to everything from efficiency to negotiation to no frills, no BS. He got our house on the market and got it sold in less than 24 hours, more like 4 hours. It was an impressive turnaround. He got us exactly the contract that we wanted. We needed to stay in our house for a couple months because we had a new build coming up. He negotiated that flawlessly. The negotiation part is the number one reason why we chose Ty, but he also has a great acumen when it comes to construction, building, remodels. We had a flood in our house that I needed help with repairing. Boom. He helped me out. Awesome service, awesome job. And if you're in the market for a realtor, Ty Hobbs is your guy. Let's hear more about the current real estate market from the man himself. So let's start with, how would you characterize the real estate market currently in both Missoula and Western Montana?
Well, currently in Missoula, we've seen a rise in inventory and buyer activity slow down a little bit. So it's turning more into a buyer's market, more than I've probably ever seen in the last 10 years or so.
So what does that mean, a buyer's market? How would you define that?
A buyer's market is really just means that there's more homes for sale than there are buyer demand. So buyers have choices, especially in negotiations.
And that means less leverage for somebody that's selling their house, more leverage for somebody that's tried to buy a house, correct?
Correct. More leverage for buyers.
Okay, so if you are a buyer and you hire you as your realtor, How do you go about then sort of taking advantage of that said advantage?
Well, right now you have the upper hand in negotiations, right? And first we start with the CMA and get a value and see where that price falls in, or where the value is for the buyers. And then there's other things that we can negotiate, such as like seller concessions to help buy down the interest rate or give you a temporary break or relief on an interest rate to help with that monthly payment. So
if people want to find out about that and other listings that you have, how do they find them?
Best way is just get a hold of me by phone, 406-544-9794.
Probably presented by the Bobcat Collective at Montana State. The Bobcat Collective is the NIL collective that serves Montana State University student athletes. The collective is partnered with Montana State to connect fans, alumni, businesses, and local nonprofits with Montana State student athletes. Opportunities through the collective allow student athletes to earn compensation while serving the greater Montana State University community. Sign up now for memberships and enjoy automatic entry into raffles for free tickets while supporting the bright minds at Montana State. They have multiple different membership tiers, and you can also be a one-time supporter, and you can also business partner or corporate supporter. Visit bobcatcollective.com for more.
Slam the door. Okay, last question. This will be an inflammatory one. Who'd you rather have right now? Keali'i Ah Yat or Justin Lamson?
Ah Yat. And I say that just because one, they're 8-0. He's leading an 8-0 football team. Yes, they haven't played as good competition, but also too, like, I want to get off of this. Everybody keeps talking about this Montana State strength of schedule. The Montana State strength of schedule is only tougher than a lot of teams in the FCS because they have Oregon on their schedule, which they lost 59-13.
It's South Dakota State, but I totally
South Dakota State, 100%. Yeah. South Dakota State, 100%. You know, South Dakota State, you put North Dakota, that's equal to, I don't even know if I would equal those, but let's say those are equal on Montana and Montana State schedule. Totally. Montana State has NAU, who's another ranked team. Montana does not. So, and then they got UC Davis and all those. So I do understand they do have a tougher strength of schedule than Montana. But in the moments when the quarterback has needed to make a play, we have continually seen Ah Yat step up and make the play. Yep. I think we saw an opportunity where Lamson was in that same position. He necessarily didn't make the play. So that's why I would lean towards Ah Yat. And I know a lot of people will see that jersey behind me and think, no, that's why you chose Ah Yat. No, I've watched the games. I watched them play. I've watched both of them. Anybody who pays attention to my content knows that I'm watching both these teams. I'm watching both these quarterbacks. I'm watching it. And I've just appreciated what I've seen from Ah Yat in the clutch more than I've seen from Justin Lamson. That's really what it boils down to me.
Well, I totally agree. That's totally fair because I think that these two guys are two of the best quarterbacks in the country. Certainly in the conference, but in the country.
Top 10, top 15 for sure.
I think they both are doing exactly what their respective teams want and need and ask of them.
Yep.
But I also think that's where Lamson deserves so much credit, is that he has stayed within himself and has not tried to do too much. And that's all they're asking him to do is, hey, you're just the point guard. Yep. Just dink and dunk and dime. And like then he started throwing the ball down the field at the beginning of conference play, and they started ripping teams. And guess what happened? He did that. When people want to know what happened with the Montana State run game, Justin Lamson threw for 260 yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half against Eastern Washington. Everybody got out of the box. Then what happened? The Cats have rushed for 800 yards the last 2 weeks because they have to respect the downfield. So Lamson deserves all the credit for that. But you're right. I think that when it comes to like winning time plays, clutch plays where you needed them, Ah Yat has been the guy that's been the best in the conference so far. And it's been a cool trajectory to watch.
And let's be real, Coulter. That's ultimately what it boils down to in football. Yep. What do you do in the moment when your best is needed? And for Ah Yat's standpoint, we've seen his best when his best has been needed. Now, obviously, we haven't seen Lamson in as many situations. I would say we've only really seen him in one scenario like that. So give credit for him for not allowing, like, his team hasn't been in that position. Good for the defense, good for him. But when Ah Yat's best has been needed, when he's needed to make the plays, he has continually made it at the highest level.
It's totally true. I appreciate you for bringing that part up too. Ah Yat's been in more clutch situations because Montana's not even close to as good on defense as Montana State.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, right? Like Ah Yat has had to bail them out against North Dakota, against Idaho State.
Yep.
Whereas, Lamson's just been driving the car in cruise control. It's a sunny day. The highway is clear. And so we'll see. But I really like what I see at Lamson too. And I think that's going to be a cool storyline to follow because I think that both these guys are playing at a really high level. So I think that's
Can I say one more thing about that Cal Poly game?
Of course.
I think also too with Vigen, it's impossible not to be upset when the neighbors beat them, only allowed 9 points to this team. And we obviously have the better defense and we gave up 17 to this team. I mean, I think that kind of plays into it too.
Definitely does. And also there's the other factor where Brent Vigen basically mercy ruled every team in the league last year. I mean, they had about 9 of their 11 wins during the regular season that were, they were up 42-0 in the third quarter. It looked like a high school football game, 42-7, emptying the bench. So he knows what the standard is and like where they can get to. Now, do they have the guys to get there this year? I'm not sure, but I also think that nobody has the guys that they had the last couple of years. So I think that's what makes it all fun, because I do think that's a sort of a revival, it's like a new era in FCS.
Oh, yeah.
Samuel, Kevin, on the Big Sky Breakdown. Thanks for doing it, buddy. Good to see you.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.